Good morning, everyone. Come in, come in. If this is your first time tuning in on TikTok, this is actually my first live on TikTok. For those of you on Facebook, YouTube, welcome. Put a comment in the box. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And share this video because I have a really good topic in immigration today and really explain the differences between a 2-year green card and a 10-year green card. So share this video so your friends can tune in to learn about this. For those of you on Facebook and YouTube, share it on WhatsApp, share it on Facebook, wherever you share it on. Share it on TikTok. Let your friends tune in. So drop in the comments where you are tuning in from. Let me know where everybody is tuning in from. And as always, when I am doing these lives, I love your questions. If you have questions about immigration matters or an example or a hypothetical, please put your questions in the comment box. Once I talk about my topic, I definitely try to get to as many questions as I can. So feel free to put that in the box. For those of you joining me for the first time, especially those of you on TikTok, my name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigrant myself. I'm originally Nigerian, born in America, but I'm very much a Nigerian, and I bleed Nigeria, flesh and blood. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based in Orlando, Florida, but I represent clients all over the United States with their family immigration matter. My phone number is 407-995-6567. So regardless of where you're located, we can definitely help you. On TikTok, thank you, Rhea, for tuning in from Houston. Fitzroy, favorite Carrie on Facebook, thank you so much for joining in from New York City. So today, before we get into it, before I actually get into it, because those of you on TikTok can't see this, for 4th of July, we're having a promotion called Freedom 4th. So basically, this is the best time to become a U.S. citizen, as we celebrate independence, or to file for your green card. So because of that, we're offering 10% off whatever immigration case type that you have. As long as you sign up between June 15th, which was yesterday, and July 2nd, you will be eligible for the 10% discount. So this is a good time to save some money and get your American dream going and start living your American dream. Okay, so now that's out of the way, I want to talk about conditional green cards versus 10-year green cards, because a lot of people don't understand what it is. So basically, I don't think I need to explain what a green card is. If you ever hear the word legal permanent residence, it's the exact same thing as being a green card holder. So in the United States, there are two types of green card that are basically given. One is considered a legal permanent resident green card, and the second one is considered, a conditional green card. So the conditional green card is the 2-year green card, and the 10-year green card is a legal permanent resident. Lizzie, thanks for tuning in from Virginia. As you're coming in, welcome, guys, welcome. Just put your name, not your name, where you're tuning in from in the comments so we know that you can hear us and you can see us. So what is the difference really between a 2-year green card and a 10-year green card? So generally, if you file on the basis of marriage, the odds are that if you've been married in under 2 years at the time they approve you, that you go for your interview and they approve your case, you're going to get a 2-year green card. So if you've been married for over 2 years at the time of your approval, you're going to get a 10-year green card. Now, this doesn't apply to other ways in which people get green cards. Like if you get green cards, through your parents or through your children and all of that stuff. Those you get a 10-year green card. But marriage-based green cards, you get conditional green cards. Thank you, Carissa, for tuning in. I'd love to have you here on TikTok. So let's dig deeper into, conditional green cards. So with a conditional green card, at the expiration of your 2 years, technically 90 days before the expiration of your 2-year green card, you want to start removing the conditions on your green card. So how do you do that? So if you got your green card based on marriage, you need to file a joint removal of condition with your spouse. What does that mean? It means that if you get a green card, a conditional green card, you can't just say, peace out, I'm out of here, I'm getting a divorce. You can't do that, right? Unless there's a reason for that divorce, which we'll get into in a second. Because when you're removing the condition on your green card, you still have to show that you have a legitimate, bona fide marriage and that your marriage was not for green cards. So you still need to continue documenting and putting together evidence to show that your marriage was legitimate. So, all those things that you submitted, taxes, leases, insurance, vacations together, joint bills, the list is endless. But basically, as much stuff as you can submit to show you have a bona fide marriage, those are all things that you need to submit when you have a conditional green card. And I want to point this out because it's usually a rude awakening for many people. It is actually much more difficult to remove the conditions on your green card, right, than to get your initial conditional green card. Because, with your initial conditional green card, you don't yet have your papers. You might not have acquired a law because, you just got your Social Security or you just got your work permit. But after 2 years of having a conditional green card, they expect you to have acquired stuff. They expect you to be able to show that your marriage is bona fide. You can't make those excuses anymore of, I didn't have Social Security, so I couldn't file taxes. I didn't have Social Security, so I couldn't have a bank account. So start trying to make sure you continue to document your marriage so that you will not have any problem removing a conditional green card. And so let's talk about the exceptions to this. So, of course, they want you to be married. Everybody wants to stay married, and continue. But USCIS and immigration understands that not all marriages are going to work, right? So nobody's forcing you to stay in a marriage. You have exceptions. So let's say you and your spouse, things don't work out and you get a divorce, right? You can still remove the conditions of your green card without your spouse. Your spouse cannot blackmail you or tell you that, well, if you divorce me, you're not going to be able to get your green card. You can still remove the conditions on your green card, even if you're divorced. The only thing is you still have to show that your marriage was legitimate. It's just that your marriage did not work out. So one of the critical things is always having a statement, writing a personal statement. We call it a declaration of your story, the legitimacy of your marriage and why it didn't work out. Okay. And I'm seeing all your questions. Keep them coming. I am going to try to get to as many of them as I can. So please keep them coming. Again, for those of you tuning in for the first time on TikTok, please do not be shy. Put your questions in the comment box. I try to answer those questions. I do this live every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. I'm trying to do as many platforms as I can. So you see me moving up, moving down because I'm using my computer in one, I'm using my phone in one, just trying to get to everybody. So just put your questions and then I'll try to answer as many as I can. So that is one exception. So with that, you can request a waiver and a waiver basically means that you're saying to be excused from your spouse filing the removal of condition with you because, you and your spouse are not together, right? So that is one way to remove it without your spouse. The second way is through extreme cruelty and abuse. Okay, so extreme cruelty and abuse is when you have a spouse who is extremely cruel to you, right? Who's psychologically abusive, who's mentally abusive, verbally abusive, financially abusive, sexually abusive, physically abusive, right? So any of those things can fall under extreme cruelty. So, what the difference is with a typical VAWA case where the person doesn't have a green card, doesn't have a green card at all or anything, where you have more people are afraid to report to the cops because, they're undocumented and stuff like that. When you're a conditional green card holder, it's important that you try to make sure you do everything you can to document that abuse, because at this point, you don't have much to be afraid of, right? Because you already have your documentation, you already have your green card. So you shouldn't be afraid to go to the cops. You shouldn't be afraid to go seek therapy. Good morning, Harmony. Thank you for tuning in. Honey says, Who is a citizen? Okay, I'm going to get to those questions real quick. So in that case, you can remove your conditions based on extreme cruelty if your spouse has been cruel to you. Now, the benefits of that sad situation is that if you do remove your green card based on an extremely cruel and abusive spouse, you will be eligible for citizenship after 3 years of having your green card, as opposed to 5 years. And they start counting from the date that you got your conditional green card. So that is the difference between removing with your spouse and removing the conditions without your spouse. There's also another exception, which is for death or hardship. Death is pretty self-explanatory. If your spouse passes away, unfortunately, you can remove the conditions that way. Again, you still have to show that, your marriage was bona fide. The other exception is hardship. This is incredibly difficult to show hardship, like in your home country. That if you were deported, this is what's going to happen. That one is an extremely difficult bar to meet, but nothing is impossible. So if that's what you're dealing with, all options are on the table. Okay, so let's see what else. So, and then another thing that I notice we get a lot of confusion with is when people are removing their conditions, they submit a green card renewal form. So that is very different. You only submit an I-90 green card renewal form when your green card, your 10-year green card, has expired. If your 10-year green card, if you don't have a 10-year green card, you do not submit an I-90. You have to request removal of condition. And oftentimes you would have to go to an interview unless you just have a lot of evidence of the legitimacy of your marriage. If you have a lot of evidence of the legitimacy of your marriage, sometimes they will bypass your interview. I'm sure you guys saw the post I posted last week of a client of mine. We had just a ton of evidence of her being in an abusive marriage, and her interview was bypassed. So we're very happy about that. So that is a 2-year green card, and then a 10-year green card is pretty self-explanatory. With a 10-year green card, you can become a U.S. citizen after 3 years of marriage and 3 years of your green card status. As long as you're still married. If you've gotten a divorce from that person and you have a 10-year green card, then you want to wait 5 years. Every other category, you have to wait 5 years unless you get your green card based on VAWA. If you get your green card based on VAWA, then you don't have to wait 5 years. You can apply for citizenship, after 3 years. So I'm going to take your questions now. But before I take your questions, for those of you just tuning in, let me remind you again that we're having a special Freedom 4th for 4th of July in celebrating America's independence. We are offering 10% off any immigration case. Sign up. If you qualify for something, you can always call us. If you think you have a legal case, and we can, evaluate you. 407-995-6567. And so you would have to sign up between June 15th to July 2nd to celebrate, Independence Day. What a great time, if as now to file for your U.S. citizenship or to file for your green card and start living your American dream. So I'm going to start taking questions. All right, so let's see. I'm going to start on Facebook. Carrie says, good morning. I was listening about the work permit extension. Does this person who gets the 1 year after renewal will get the 2 year under VAWA? So right now, no. So this rule, so for those of you who don't know what Favor Carrie is talking about, as of June 9th, any new application that is approved gets a 2 year a 2 year work permit. So before June 9th, you would always get a 1 year green card, and then you renew for 1 year. But the rules are saying that basically right now, if you get approved for a work permit right now, in order to reduce the backlog, and just because most cases are taking more than a year to approve now, they're just automatically going to give you a 2 year green card. I mean, not 2 year green card. I keep saying green card, 2 year work permit. And then if your work permit expires after you have that 2-year work permit, you will get a renewal of a 2-year work permit. For those of you that have just a 1-year work permit already, your renewal will be based on what your initial work permit was. So you'll be getting a 1-year work permit. Unless something changes, that's what the rules are right now. So we're going to see once we start getting, we have a few work permits actually on the way to our office this today and this week. So I'm going to be able to clarify more once I see what kind of work permit those people get, and then I'll be able to clarify it. Lizzie, I think I said hi already. Thanks for tuning in from Virginia. Let me take some questions from TikTok. Someone says, really need some information in getting a green card through a visa while in the country. I have a sibling. So it depends on your situation. If you are wanting to get a green card based on a sibling who's a U.S. citizen, the timeline is quite long. You're looking at anywhere from 15 to 16 years as the wait time to get your green card. But you can still start the process. And while your process is starting, there may be something else that you might qualify for. So I'm not really sure if you're in the country or outside of the country, but those are your options. Precious says, will there be complication in my application if I have a different immigration attorney for my VAWA petition and hire another immigration attorney for my self-petition for my 10-year green card? I'm divorced and already have my 2 years green card. So there'll be no complication at all. People change their attorneys all the time. Usually what happens is that your new attorney sends a G28 to immigration and lets them know that they're entering as your new attorney of record, and all correspondence should be changed to them. And if I'm understanding your question correctly, I'm assuming that you got that you already got your 2-year green card, and you're talking about you use a different lawyer for your 2-year green card. So if you use a different lawyer for your 2-year green card, you certainly should not be using that lawyer for your VAWA case anyway, based on an abusive well, let me clarify, because when you say VAWA, it confuses a lot of people. When you have a 2-year green card, what you're filing is a removal of condition based on extreme cruelty and abuse. In that case, you shouldn't be using the same lawyer anyway, because they have a conflict of interest, because the lawyer that represented you and your wife to get your 2-year green card cannot represent you again, because basically, it's not in the best interest of your spouse. So I hope that answered your question. Let's see, what else do we have here? Somebody says on Facebook, hello, I filed for VAWA and it's almost 3 years now, and I'm on my 2nd work permit and just sent in to renew for a 3rd work permit. The last time I got a response regarding my I-360 was March 2020, that they've received my information and they resume working on my case. Yeah, it's taken long. I know the question she's asking is that, is it taking long? Well, for some people, it takes 2 years to 2.5 years. Depends on when exactly you filed. But it's within timeline. One thing that I would suggest is that because you can't really do a service inquiry for VAWA cases, if you worked with an attorney, we have a special attorney VAWA hotline where we could follow up with immigration on your case. So you can always follow up with your attorney, so that they can follow up to see what's going on in your case, if it's just been unreasonably long. But 2.5 years is not so long. So you could very well be getting a decision, maybe even today after talking to me. So let's keep our fingers crossed, right? So somebody says, Richard says, blessed morning, very good information. A lot of people don't understand and listen to the wrong people and are afraid to get the right information from the right person. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I mean, that's really what I come on here to do. Listen, guys, I'm an immigrant. There's all sorts of stuff that, immigrants listen to, cousin Ray, cousin John did it this way, cousin whatever. I always say the first step to freedom is knowledge, right? So ultimately, even if you choose not to use an attorney or choose to whatever, go schedule a consultation, see what you qualify for, see what your odds of success are, before you take such an important decision. But at the end of the day, you have to think about the decision you're making. Like this, for a lot of people, changes their lives, right? Getting a green card could change the trajectory of many people's lives. Getting a U.S. citizenship could change the trajectory of many people's lives. America is a great country where you can come to this country and can be anything and anyone you want to be, where if you live or you're from certain countries, you can have all the brain smarts in the world, but if you don't have the connections, the access, or the resources, you can't push ahead. So use this opportunity and get it right so that you can start living the American dream. I mean, for those of you on TikTok, I tell my story all the time. I was born in America, but I left this country when I was 5 years old and I came back when I was 17. So, I'm just like the rest of you guys. So yes, even though I had, American citizenship, coming into this country, I came here at 17 years old from Nigeria. Like I didn't know anybody or anything. Right. And I filed for my parents. My parents are US citizens because of me and my sister who petitioned for them because that was a gift they gave us by having us here. And now my whole family is here. Right. And our lives have changed for the better because, we went about it the right way and the right path. So, definitely, as Richard says, make sure you're listening to the right people. If somebody is not in the legal field, or is not an immigration expert, like, don't listen to anybody. Just pay the consultation fee and go get the right information, and a lot of times, not everything you see on Google is accurate. Okay. So let me get off my pedestal and continue taking questions. So let's see. So somebody, Gail Stark says, how long after you receive your work permit through VAWA can you expect an interview or green card? Oh, 2 years to 2.5 years at least. That's when you'll probably get a green card. Well, that's when you'll get approved for your VAWA. Once you get approved for your VAWA, then they'll schedule you or not schedule. So it just really depends. Sometimes they might just approve you without an interview. Sometimes they'll schedule you for an interview. So it just all depends. Let's see. Somebody says, can you use a prima facie to apply for financial aid? And this is Binta. Yes, you can. You just have to make sure that your prima facie is being renewed yearly. So like, let's say you're in school, with each year, you have to make sure your prima facie is being renewed. But keep in mind that most of the time, the prima facie determination letters are renewed automatically. Yearly. And so for those of you who don't know what Binta is talking about, when you file a VAWA petition, usually if your case meets the minimum requirement where they're like, okay, this person could qualify, as a VAWA applicant or a VAWA approved applicant, they give you a documentation called a prima facie determination letter. And that letter allows you to get financial aid if you need it for school. In some states, it allows you to get, public assistance. And in some states, it allows you to get a driver's license while you're waiting for your work permit. So somebody on TikTok says, how long after getting the final letter will you get a date for the interview? So what do you mean final letter? I mean, it just really depends. It's really hard to tell. So is it a marriage-based case? If it's a marriage-based case, typical timeline is right now, well, before the pandemic, I would say 8 to 12 months. Right now, I would say that most of our marriage-based cases, we're seeing at the highest timeline, a 12-month timeline, meaning by the 12th month of when we submitted the application, they're scheduling them for the interview. For VAWA, as I mentioned before, it's 2 years to 2.5 years. By the time you get your green card, it could very well be 3 years. But the good thing is while that's going on, you'll still be able to work. And when you get approved for VAWA, you actually get a different work permit, which is a VAWA approved, meaning that it's like so now, like when you file for a VAWA case, typically you get a work permit that's based, meaning that you have a pending adjustment of status case. But once they approve your VAWA case, they send you a new work permit saying that you have an approved case. And, at least with that, you can work and you can travel until they schedule you for your green card interview if they're scheduling you. And then somebody else on TikTok says, okay, TikTok is full of questions today. That's awesome. Someone says, when applying for a fiancé visa, how long do you take for you to get approved? I think that's what you're trying to ask. So honestly, this one, the answer really depends, just because we're dealing with a consulate backlog like we've never seen before. So consulate just means people that, have been in backlog. Consulate just means U.S. embassies outside of the United States. So, if you're from Ghana, Ghana consulate, Nigerian consulate, Jamaican consulate, Cameroon consulate, wherever you are, from and wherever the consulate is. So, because they're in a backlog, they all have different priorities of cases that they're trying to approve. There's some cases that have been pending for a long time that they're trying to approve, so it's really, really hard to tell. But, if you schedule a consultation and you have your NVC information or whatever, we can check to just see what case, where they are in the processing and where you might be. But it's hard to tell. Before the pandemic, it could be like 12 key fiance visas used to be like 7 to 12 months, but now honestly don't expect anything before 12 to 15 months, honestly. Okay, let's see. So Gael says, are advanced parole renewed automatically with your work permit? No, you have to actually apply for advanced parole. If not, it will not be given to you. So Favor Carey is confirming, yes, you can get public assistance in New York City if you have a prima facie document. So for that person that was asking, there you go. In New York City, at least you can get it. Let's see. On TikTok, it says, if someone is filing from asylum to marriage-based green card with a citizen, will the wife still need to do biometrics again? I guess the question is, who are you referring to? Are you referring to the person that doesn't have the green card? Basically, let me explain biometrics to you, because I've actually been getting this question a lot. Any petition you file for, you must pay for the biometrics if there is a fee for biometrics. USCIS decides if they want to bypass biometrics or not. So whether or not they choose to bypass it, you must pay for it. Let me use an example. So let's say you have an asylum case that's pending and you file a marriage-based petition, right? I don't know, my color is acting so crazy this morning. So let's say you have a, the asylum case, and then you file an adjustment of status to get your green card through your U.S. citizen spouse. You must pay that biometrics fee. And then once you pay that biometrics fee, USCIS is going to decide whether or not to bypass biometrics. And the reason why they're bypassing biometrics, again, is like what I talked about earlier, because COVID has created a lot of backlog. So they're just trying to do things to basically accelerate and make the process smoother so we can catch up. So the good news is, again, I mentioned this earlier, for those of you tuning in, you get a 2-year work permit now if you're filing for the first time for your work permit. So that way they're not wasting their time processing renewals when they know that most cases are not being approved in 12 months. So let's see, what other questions do I have here? Somebody's hi from Ghana. He's from Ghana and planning to move to the US. Congratulations, hopefully you have, a smooth path to the United States. Let's see what else we have on TikTok. Somebody asked how much is for a consultation fee. Consultation fee is $100. Usually during the consultation, I try to discuss strategy, try to see what you qualify for, what you potentially qualify for. And, if you do qualify for something, I try to go over the process and timeline, give you all that documentation, list of required evidence, and what you need. And to do that, I charge a consultation fee, which is $100. Okay, so somebody says, hi, ma'am, how long does it take to get approval or response from USCIS after filing for a spousal green card? So the answer is that it really depends, because what petition are you filing? Are you filing from outside the United States or inside the United States? If you're filing from outside of the United States, it's a 2-step process. Because they first have to approve the petition, the I-130 petition for alien relative, move it to NVC, and then NVC, once you finish uploading your stuff, then has to move it to your embassy, and then your embassy makes a decision. If you're filing it from within the United States, they make the decision all at the same time. And as I mentioned earlier, right now, most of my clients are seeing about a 12-month, on their 12-month anniversary, basically, is when they're having their interviews. Now, having said that, I have had clients who their whole process is completely done even by month 8 or month 9 or month 7. But again, it's not necessarily the norm. I'm seeing more people, in the 12-month, window. And again, remember, if you attend an interview, they don't have to approve you on the spot, but that doesn't mean they're not going to approve you. So if you already had an interview, don't panic. As long as your interview went well and you have legitimate marriage, your approval will be coming. Okay. All right, let me take some more on TikTok. How do I review this question? Okay. When it's telling me that I have questions, but I don't know how to read the questions, guys. I'm so sorry. Let me see if I can do it here. TikTok, guys, this is my first time using TikTok, so I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to answer this question. So I apologize because I can see the questions, but I can't see the questions. Okay, so someone says, how long does it take to get the biometrics after you receive the notice? Oh, the answer depends. That one we don't have a timeline. It's just up to immigration. And then something else that we've seen recently is people that they bypass their biometrics. They sent, like at the beginning of the pandemic, they sent letters for them to go to biometrics now. So again, this is one of those things where there's no method or rhyme or reason to the madness. So it's really difficult to give a timeline for biometrics. Okay, so let's see. Smith says, I need to call you. My wife has been telling me to reach out to you to set an appointment. I really need to. Where are you located? I'm in Florida. Awesome, Smith. You have a very smart wife. Call me. 407-995-6567 to schedule a consultation. I'm located in Orlando, Florida, but specifically in Lake Mary. That's a suburb of Orlando, Florida. If you're too far away from there, you can definitely do a Zoom video. I love to see my clients on the face. Some people choose phone appointments, but I prefer Zoom because it's good for you to see me and for me to see you, and so we can connect. Okay, so definitely call us. And then Lizzie says, I filed for adjustment of status in 2020 February, and I went for my interview in February 2021 and was given 120 days, and today's the last day. What do you advise? I advise at this point, actually, I have a client, similar case to you, filed February 2020, interview 2020, and we actually just submitted, an inquiry request. So at this time, it's been more than 6 months. So I would suggest that you try to do a service inquiry request just to see what's going on with your case, because they should at least let you know if they need additional evidence for you. They should send you additional evidence, or if not, they need to make a decision. So I would say follow up with USCIS since it's been 6 months. Andrea says, how do you know that your interview is approved? Because you get an approval. So because you get an approval. Some immigration officers are nice and they will tell you that, well, I'll recommend you for approval, but that the supervisor has to review it. We have to make sure everything checks out, and then you get an approval. Sometimes they do that, and sometimes they can say that, and you will not get your approval for like 3 months, right? But other times they won't tell you anything. They'll just say, okay, everything went well. We'll let you know once a decision is made, or whether we need additional evidence from you. For me, I follow all my clients' cases. So once a decision has been made on any of my clients, I get notified via text and via email, so I can alert my clients and tell them, what the status of their case is. Okay, Smith says, I'm in Daytona Beach. Oh yeah, you're not too far. My kids are actually on a field trip to Daytona 500 or something like that, like wherever the car racing thing is today. So let's see. Tamika from YouTube. Hi, Tamika. Good morning. What do I need to get my ex-husband on child support? We are both immigrants. I'm doing well, and I would like to know what I need to do, please. So, Tamika, I don't do, family law cases. I'm happy to refer you to a family attorney, depending on what state you're in. If you're in Florida, I have quite a few number of referrals. I have some good ones in New York as well. If you're in any of those states, I'm happy to refer you to the people that I would trust with my clients' divorce and child support on custody issues. So let me know if you are. Definitely, you can call us or DM us or send us a message actually on WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp phone number is 404-333-8751. You can text us on WhatsApp and say, what your state is, and you're looking for family or custody attorney there, and if it's one that we have a recommendation for, we'll respond to you. Okay. All right. She says thank you. You're welcome. Let me see. Someone says, if someone doesn't have social media account, is it bad for a marriage-based case? Of course not. It's not bad. Who, it's not you're not required to have social media. But since you brought up social media, let's talk about social media. If you do have a social media presence, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever, everybody's using these days, you want to be very careful with what you post on your social media, because a lot of times USCIS officers are going to check your social media, and whatever you put as public, that's posted as public and not private, they have access to that. So you can be filing a marriage-based case and posting yourself on vacation with, another chick, right? Or another guy living large, or saying single, ready to mingle, because it's going to raise a red flag. And that when you get into that interview, you're probably going to have a Stokes interview. So you want to be very mindful of what you're going to post. If anything at all, if you have social media presence, you should be posting as much as you can, about you and your spouse, because it further shows legitimacy of your marriage. So that is what I would suggest. If you have a social media and you're filing a marriage-based case, post about your husband, or post about your wife. Don't worry about people thinking, getting sick of you making all this posts or lovey-dovey posts. Post that stuff so they know that your marriage is real. Because USCIS thinks this way: if you're not afraid or ashamed to show your spouse in public, then you're not hiding it, and the odds are that it's a bona fide marriage. So you want to post all those things, okay? So let's see. Okay, so JD on Facebook says, ma'am, I got my 2-year green card. I applied to remove the condition, and I was given an 18-month extension, and it's almost expired. I'm so worried about not hearing anything from USCIS. So first of all, calm down, calm down. What's happening is exactly what is supposed to happen. So since your stuff is about to expire, I don't know when you say almost, is it 1 month, 2 months? What I recommend is that you call USCIS 1-800 number and schedule an info pass. So when you get on the phone, you're going to hear the computer, blah, blah, blah. Ask for info pass. When you get on a phone with a real person, you tell them that you want to schedule an info pass to stamp your passport with a temporary green card, because your conditional removal is still pending, okay? And once you do that, they will schedule you for an appointment. You go into the USCIS local office, and they will stamp you with an extension, a 12-month extension. It's not an interview. It's not anything. You're a green card holder already. Remember, even though it's a conditional green card, you're still a green card holder. All they're doing is literally show them your filing receipt that your case is still pending. They will pull it up. Okay, your case is still pending. Stamp. They will give you an extension. So don't worry about it. And the reason why they give 18 months extension is because it's taking that long. Like I mentioned, there's just such a backlog right now with immigration. So they're giving people an opportunity to work and to travel while they try to fix this backlog and continue to work on the case. So I think I lost y'all on TikTok. My phone is going to die soon. So you're still within time zone. For some people, it takes 20 months, 24 months, 2 years to remove the conditions on your green card. But I don't want you to worry, because that is normal. What is not normal are the people that theirs are removed quickly. Does it happen sometimes? Yes. Have some of my clients submitted conditional green cards that were removed in 6 months? Yes. But is that normal? No. So worry less. Okay. So, and so on TikTok, Fatima says, my husband is here for 20 years and doesn't know how to be legal, has never had any trouble. Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. He's been in this country and, he's not legal. So the question is, are you legal? Is it something that you can petition for him? Either way, just tell him to call me. And, again, this is what I talk about, strategies. Let us see if there is any kind of loophole or something he may qualify for by analyzing his whole family, family train or family history, or what he may be able to petition for. Again, on TikTok, my number is 407-995-6567. You can also see it in my profile, and my WhatsApp is 404-333-8751. That number doesn't take calls, so just leave it, you can send a text message, and somebody will get back to you that's for the WhatsApp number. Okay, so somebody on TikTok says, married after just 3 months of dating, filed adjustment of status almost a year now, worried if that's a red flag. So after 3 months of dating. So if you tune in just now, you would have missed what I said earlier, which is that, right now, most marriage-based cases are taking 12 months before they schedule you for an interview. If you've only been married 3 months, if you've only been married 3 months after dating, you want to try to make sure that your stuff is solid, so when I say that, people marry all the time. After all, Portia from Real Housewives of Atlanta is engaged after 1 month. For those of you just tuning in, if you never tuned in before, I talk about Real Housewives a lot because I love it. That's like my guilty pleasure. I never have time to watch TV. When I can, I watch Real Housewives. But anyway, if that's the situation, you were dating and 3 months later, you guys were just head over heels in love and got married, just make sure that in this 12 months, while you guys were waiting, that you have enough evidence to show that your marriage is real. As long as you can show your marriage is real, they can't deny it. That's it. So show them that you have a real marriage, all the things you've acquired together in the 12 months while you've been waiting. Because I'm going to assume that you already have your work permit and your Social Security. So, you should have bank accounts together. You should have leases together. You should have credit cards together. You should have health insurance together, or life insurance, or phone bills, or cell phone plans together, taking trips together, whatever. Or if you've flown out of state to another state with receipts. So, try to gather all those things, okay? So someone says, my fiance is living in the US. How can I migrate there and work legally? Well, Nikki, if your fiance is a US citizen, he can actually petition for you. If he is a US citizen or she is a US citizen, she can petition for you to come here on a fiance visa. And once you come here on a fiance visa, you get married within 90 days, and you will be able to migrate legally and get your green card. I hope that helps. So Vera says, we've been married for more than a year. I don't see your first question. Okay, I see your first question. You're the one that says yeah, exactly. You've been married for more than a year. So somebody on TikTok says Portia wants love. Well, whatever she wants, love, money, that's on her. The bottom line is, if Portia can fall in love and get engaged after 1 month, nobody should condemn anybody else that gets married after 3 months. Some people fall in love quickly. So Hamid says, how long after vow approval is the interview, and how long to get the green card? I talked about this earlier. So honestly, the answer is really depends. Sometimes it could take a couple of months, but if you got your vow approval, you should have, your work permit based on the vow approval. So you can at least hold on to that while you're waiting for them to schedule you for an interview or request, or sometimes they'll do what we call an RFE, which is a request for additional evidence. And that RFE is for you to send your medical exam to them. And once you send your medical, if you ever get an RFE saying send us your medical exam, it means that they're going to most likely approve you without an interview. So Nikki on TikTok says, her husband is her fiance is a green card holder. So this was the person who asked earlier how she can legally migrate to the United States if her fiance is a green card holder. So if your fiance is a green card holder, you've got only two options. He can either become a US citizen and petition for you with a fiance visa, or he can go to your country and marry you as a green card holder and then petition for you. It will be quicker for him to go to your country at this point and marry you, because otherwise he doesn't have to wait till he becomes a US citizen. And once you guys get married and he comes back, he can start filing your petition. Okay. Mike says, if I do a consultation, would it be personal with you or with an assistant? Your consultation will be with me, not my assistant. Ooh, my lights just went on. My light has been having issues, so it's super bright right now. So your consultation will be with me as a lawyer. I will tell you though, as the firm continues to grow, we have some other attorneys that might be doing your consultation. But right now, your consultation will be with me. Lorraine says, I did too with her personally. Hi, Lorraine. Thank you for tuning in. Exactly. It will be with me. I love to know my clients. I want to know you guys. So, it's going to be very hard for me to relinquish that to somebody else because I love talking to people. I love getting to know you guys. I love learning about your stories. And I love to feel the connection so that when you guys eventually get to live your American dream, I feel like a proud mom or a proud supporter, of your dream. So definitely schedule, and I would love to chit chat with you. Let's see. I think I have covered everything else before the lawnmower comes here. Every Wednesday, he comes to my window at the office to bother me. So it's super loud here. But before I jump off, I want to remind everybody again, today is freedom. This from June 15th to July 2nd, it's Freedom 4th. We are celebrating July 4th, America's independence. So because of that, we're offering 10% off every immigration case signed up between June 15th and July 2nd. So if you already had a consultation and you've been trying to save your money to sign up, this is a good time. 10% can be significant, for a lot of people. So definitely take advantage of that. So I'll take one more question and then I will jump off. Hi, Lorraine. Lorraine says, sorry, I'm late. I'm here from California. Yeah, she's here from California. Thank you for tuning in and waking up to join us. Somebody, Jet Stock on TikTok says, my wife asked for a lot of money from me for a green card and I got rejected. So she asked for a divorce and protective order. I'm out of USA now, and what would I do? So without knowing more of the particularities of your case, it's really hard to give advice. I would definitely suggest a consultation. 407-995-6567. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.